It's official. I have spent 10 years in Canada. Yay! One whole decade. It's March 15th, 2015. I and my daughter came into Canada, and whew, yeah, the weather looks exactly like it did on that day. The weather currently looks like exactly like it did on that day. It's a bit snowy, it's a bit chilly, but like most people will tell you, if you're coming to Canada today, you came at a good time. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. All right. So I just want to share with you 10 of my biggest lessons learned in this 10 years. In no particular order, but this one, of course, is the most important one to me for me. And that is carry God along. Honestly, faith is has been my biggest anchor. When I show up in like settings and I'm speaking, and people ask me, and by the way, I'm speaking actually, I'm doing a keynote speech today at an event, and when people ask me questions around, um, you know, what kept you? How did you stay resilient? I'm like, I have no resilience bone in me. But my faith in God has been my anchor. And I know in mainstream, people don't like hearing that, but I mean, it's the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, right? However, yes, as part of that journey in my faith in God, there's been strategies that have been unpacked to me that have helped me, that when I implemented, have helped my journey, no doubts, right? But for the most part, it has been my faith in God has been my anchor. Um, Trust God through every step. It brings you peace, and it also just helps you be more purposeful in what you're doing, and then it gives you strength for the journey. And even just in how I make the decision to stay, um, I know that I did a lot of crying to God, like ugly cries. And I'll be like, God, do you really want me to stay? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? And I remember, and I think I shared in one of the episodes that I've been doing on how I had a near death experience, and then I was in that hospital bed thinking about my life and like, what if I had died? Right. But even after I left that bed, it wasn't automatic. I still remember having a moment where I went to God by myself in prayer after everybody had left the house. And I just sort of said, God, you gave me the job that I had in Nigeria that I loved so much. Why do you want to take it away? And I also remember just coming to this place of peace and knowing that I needed to be here. It wasn't just that I wanted, I needed to be here. And even in that moment, just saying to God, like, I will stay because I want to obey you, but please make it worth my while. And I'm glad to say that it has been. It really has been. I don't know how to explain it beyond that. It really has been. And I'm grateful. I am grateful. Anyway, lesson number one, carry God along. Honestly, carry God along. Lesson number two. Now, if you're single, this might be a little different for what that looks like for you. But lesson number two is that work together as a family, work as a team. Honestly, even if you're single, find people to work with, to walk with, to work with, and to walk with. Now, as a family, especially, I hear a lot of stories around divorce. Divorce rates are sadly seeming like they're going through the roofs right now amongst immigrant families, which is really painful to say the least. And I mean, we can talk about all the reasons why, and I have my own theories around that. But whatever the reasons are, um, one thing that I find that really is somewhat also at the root of it is that people are not working together. They're acting like they're in different teams when they're really just a team. So carry your children along, carry your spouses along, right? And maybe I should have, again, like I said, it's in no particular order, but there are some things that maybe sort of comes before other things. So I'll quickly just jump into number three, lesson learned, and then just sort of tie it back to number two, which is have a vision for yourself as an individual and for your family. Because having a clear sense of direction, it is key. It keeps you focused. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you anchored. Now, again, yes, faith is an anchor and has been my anchor, but also having a clear vision of defining for myself, why am I here? Why am I staying here? Like I said, I realized eventually I needed to be here, right? And if I need to be here, what does that mean for me as a person? What does that look like in my family? What does that look like in my career? What does that look like for me, for my for my family as a whole? What does that look like for us as a family? And being able to answer all of those questions is very key. So, personally, have a vision for yourself, but also as a family, have a vision for your family. It will help you take intentional strides and make purposeful progress, right? And then when you now have a vision for yourself, you're bringing it to your family and you're now working together as a family, as a team to bring that vision to life. So I know what my husband's visions are. He knows what my vision is for myself. We both know what vision we have for our children and what we want for our family. And so we're working together intentionally towards that. Now, if that vision now requires that I don't get to cook, I don't get to cook. It's that simple. If that vision requires that I don't get to clean, I don't get to clean. Now, one of the other thing that it also does is that when you're working together as a team, you want to identify and play to your strengths as opposed to weaknesses, or and cover each other's weaknesses, right? So for instance, it's crazy. Yeah, I actually love to cook. Personally, I love to, like, no matter how busy I get. When I was running for office, I still somehow, it wasn't as consistent as I wanted, but I still somehow find ways to cook for my family. It's crazy how I pull that off. I don't know that that's me. I mean, I know, I don't mind planning, but let's not, that's not the focus of today's conversation. But here's what I'm going, is that I love it so much, and I actually just love the there's this joy I get from cooking for you, and then you eat, you're like, oh my god, this was good food. I love that. It gives me joy. So I enjoy cooking for my family, but um, I mean, I don't like cleaning. I really just don't. My husband doesn't like cooking at all, at all. So I cook, he cleans. We play to our strengths. In some houses, they'll say, "Oh, women are complaining," and they're like, "Oh, my husband just comes and he just throws everything, socks, shoes." In my house, actually, I am that person. I am the one. My husband is tidy. I mean, I'm not a dirty person. I'm not. I'm neat, but I'm not tidy. There's a difference. I'm not tidy at all, right? Like, I'll throw things, although it still gets to me, right? But he is more of the, okay, fold it up, put it nicely away kind of person, and we play to that strength. Okay, so we play to our strength, because when you have a vision and you're working towards a goal, it doesn't matter who is doing what, as long as we're both playing towards achieving that vision. That's the long and short of all that shenanigans that I was trying to build up. All right, so have a vision, work together, and of course carry God along together. When your children see you work together as a team, you don't even need to tell them too much. They will naturally also pick up working together as a team. Okay, so number four, build support systems. Man, I think I mentioned in one of the episodes too that I have two kids. I gave birth to one here and I gave birth to one in Nigeria. In Nigeria, I had one child, multiple access of help, uh, two living nannies. Please listen and don't judge. And then I came to Canada and now I have two kids, no help. Grandma stayed for all but 1 month. Sorry, Grandma, we dragged you into this one. And then, yeah, what do you do? Build support system. You need your people. Find your tribe. Find your people. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. For us, for the most part, it was one major family because we're all in the same sort of boat. We understood where we're at. We supported one another spiritually, financially, emotionally. And I'm still going to talk about this in one of the episodes because I'm continuing the the series on my 10-year reflection, I just wanted to take today to just talk about the 10 biggest lessons that I've learned, or the 10 biggest things that have really just worked for me, I guess. I don't know, whatever I want to call it. But um, but even at some point when it felt like our marriage was about to hit the rocks, they pulled through for us, right? And so having that strong network of friends, mentors, community, my faith community, my church, like I can't even begin to tell you the support that I have received from there. When I had my son, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't want to do any, like they'll tell you you have to do like naming ceremony and all of that. I was not about to do that. But my church was so small at the time that everybody just knows everybody. And anytime you're doing anything, it's like you're literally inviting the whole church, right? And when we're doing that, I didn't want to do that because that meant inviting the whole church, and I honestly didn't have the money to feed the whole church. Somebody from the church came to me, and she cooks, right? By the way, book her place. I know she'll probably kill me for this, but book her place. If you're in Regina and you haven't been to Abula Fiesta, I don't even know what you're doing. Every last Sunday of the month, like, just come, sit down, have some like real, yeah, but home cooked meal, like enjoy it. And even if you're not Nigerian, come. This is an opportunity to come enjoy Nigerian food, good Nigerian food. Anyway, I digress. Now I'm hungry. But I remember she just said to me, "What's your budget?" And I told her what I would have worked with, but I can't invite everybody. And she said, "Okay, give me the money." And then another group of people came and said, Epi events. She came and she was like, sis, I heard you're not planning to do this. Like, what's up? Is money the problem? Yeah, sure. Okay, what do you need? Next thing I know, we're booking a hall. Next thing I know, they're decorating for me for free. Next thing I know, yeah, but don't has cooked. Book up, please. Sorry, what am I calling yeah, but she has cooked for me, and everybody ate. But get this, it wasn't just that people ate. She actually had some food packed up for me specially. That food sustained my family for 1 whole month. 1 month I didn't cook. And it wasn't one meal. There was fried rice, there was jollof, there was stew, there was asaro. Asaro is like porridge jam. There was all of those different things. And she showed up again on the first birthday of my son, of same son. So this is just to tell you, build a strong network of people. You'll be amazed the lengths to which your network can go for you. But of course, it goes without saying, don't just be a receiver, also be a giver, right? So build your network honestly, and sometimes it might take a while. Sometimes it might be immediate. You might strike something with someone very immediately. Other times it might take a while to build a connection. Like there are many people in my life who have been like strong support systems. My kids, I need to go somewhere. My kids are little. I can call someone here and say, "Hey, come stay in my house," or "Can my kids come over to yours?" Like I've had a lot of university students that are close to me. They've been such strong support as well as I have been to them. At least I like to think, right? So build support systems. There's a reason why. Or if I'll put it the way we'll say it in Nigerian pidgin English, it gets why. All right. And then number five, I would say that embrace the culture, the Canadian culture. I know, integrate. You aren't really a Canadian until you integrate to some degree. Okay, I still haven't tried camping yet, but we might try. But at least, no, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me say this. All right, because I'm going to sound very hypocritical with the thing I wanted to say. So let me set some context. Now, there are some things that we know that we can't learn anymore. For instance, I put my kids in skating because that's a Canadian thing, right? But I can't skate. And I don't plan to learn to skate. I put them in swimming and I'm learning to swim. I made sure that I taught them how to ride bikes. And I'm saying all of these things because growing up in Nigeria, for me at least, these are not things that your parents teach you. You just pick them up on your own, right? So you pick them up if there's an opportunity. Some parents will buy bikes for their children. And I've never seen them teach them how to ride a bike in Nigeria. Excuse me, how is that child supposed to ride the bike if you're not teaching them? But they pick it up. But that was not my case. Nobody taught me. Um, and no, growing up, nobody bought me a bike either. No, they didn't buy me a bike. But nobody taught me how to swim. All my siblings know how to swim. My parents knew how to swim. I just didn't know how to swim. Nobody taught me, and I didn't pick it up on my own. But coming here, extracurricular activities, for instance, with kids is a big thing. It's a big thing. Now, let me even touch on that one very quickly. It's not just a big thing, it is vital for your children. Get them involved in extracurricular activities. You're also setting them up for a great college opportunity. And as they grow older, let them reflect their age, right? So there are some things that I now learn. I tried how to learn a bike as an adult. It wasn't working, so I got myself a tricycle. Again, listen, don't judge. And then for my swimming, my husband and I learned swimming at the same time as our children are learning swimming. We're still learning swimming. We're all still learning swimming. I put my kids in skating because that's a little more Canadian. But there are times that we challenged ourselves. Now, I know, and this shows up in different ways for different people. Some people would say, I'll go to a church that is considered predominantly white because that's my way of wanting to assimilate. That's fine. Find your own thing and do it. For us, it's that we keep connection to our heritage and sort of our community, the Nigerian community through our faith community. It's predominantly Nigerians. All ethnic backgrounds are welcome, but it's predominantly Nigerians. We keep our connection there, but at the same time, we were making conscious efforts. So it involved things like volunteering actively in our kids' schools and daycare. It involved things like sitting on the board. It involved things like showing up to community events, volunteering in community events, things like that. It actually helps you integrate, learn, and grow within the Canadian culture, while at the same time, you can still honor your own roots. So it's possible to belong without losing your identity. As a matter of fact, in my business, one of the things I say is that I help immigrated professionals advance their careers and establish their identity. It's not just a tagline, it is there intentionally for a reason. Because I've seen this in my own life where we're finding that balance between integrating without losing a sense of our identity, including down to our food. We haven't nailed it on the language part. We're teaching our children the language, but we're gonna get there. Y'all pray for me. I really want to do that one. So really, embrace the culture, assimilate. Do not be afraid to assimilate. Try soups. Try broccoli. Sorry, there's an in-house joke on broccoli, but try soups and try broccoli. It'll help you. All right. Number six, changes happen very fast in Canada. Oh boy. Now, this one I think I'll direct it at people who are still sort of in an immigration process. Changes happen really, 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 really fast. Anytime and this year is actually an election year. I came into Canada 10 years ago in an election year, and the year after was an election year in Nigeria. So this is an election year right now in Canada, mostly because there were some shifts that happened in the election process. But one thing I want to say is that anytime especially in an election year, a lot can change in literally days, weeks, seconds, minutes. You can wake up, go to bed one night, and one policy is in place, and the next morning you wake up and it's gone. Now, not to mention our neighbors in the south are being a little cray cray right now. So changes are really, really, really on the fly. So my policy, my feedback to a lot of people have always been that which you must do it and do it quickly. Don't say I'll wait till tomorrow. The moment the window of opportunity opens, unless otherwise expressly told by God, please jump at it. Don't drag your foot on anything. I personally have been burnt on this, but I've also enjoyed the benefits of just moving in as quickly as possible. Changes happen. Not to even mention, life in itself is also unpredictable. So even if government is not changing policies, you never know circumstances that might come up in your own life that might create a change. So for instance, for me, one of the things that, at the time I kept dragging my feet on, I didn't want to just take any survival job, and then I was on and on about that. Now the implication of that is that by the time I now needed to stop working and then get back into work and then come back and have my son, I didn't have any EI to claim, right? But if I had started just even like a month sooner, I would have been eligible for EI. So I lost that opportunity. And what that meant was that I now had a 2 month old baby and I had to go back to work. It wasn't fun. So that's just one example. There are other examples that I can give. And I've seen this happen for a lot of people. Students, international students, especially, they are the ones that tend to somewhat fall victim to this a lot. Please, that which you must do it and do it quickly. All right. So that's what I'll say for number six. Number seven, cherish the little moments. There'll be just sometimes stop and smell the roses. Honestly, just stop and smell the roses. Because one thing I find with Canada, I remember when I was still in Nigeria, my husband would say, Canada is stressful. I used to look at him like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, come to Nigeria and see stressful. But I finally get it. It looks like you have everything, but it's just weird. So if you're not careful, you can just be go, 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 that you're not really stopping to enjoy the little moments. Stop and smell the roses, cherish the little moments. Don't always wait for the big things. Enjoy the joys, the laughters, the quiet, the winter, the summer, the spring. Enjoy every season of it. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Number eight, I believe, yes, number eight. Be flexible, be adaptable, and seek to evolve. Now, I know I mentioned having a vision and sticking to your vision. You can have an idea of where you want to go and you have a plan, you have a purpose, but be flexible in your how to about it, right? Like I said, like if you for instance, if you're close to me and look at my career and what my journey has looked like, it's been a lot of things happening, but a lot of all those too is also me just finding a path to where I want to go. Like, okay, I thought this was the way to go about it. I'm still committed to the original vision I came in with. Believe me, I'm still very committed to it. But this is me just finding other ways of going about it and seeking ways to just sort of do it. And then if something isn't serving that vision anymore, I let it go. Okay, I'm learning to let it go. So adapt, be flexible, be committed to your vision, but be flexible in how you go about it. You might not always be able to follow the script for everything. Okay, so as the changes are coming, and again I also talk about like things change, right? As the changes are coming, embrace the change, be very strategic about how you're also sort of navigating things, right? And just kind of grow through it. Okay, grow through it, grow through it. Okay, so number nine, I would say love the land, love the people. Now, this is a huge lesson that I learned, and I think that a lot of the reasons why I struggled with being in Canada to begin with came out of somewhat out of this. I've never really been a fan of the Western world. Please, CIA, don't come for me. I've never been a fan of the Western world, maybe because I'm a student of international relations and history, and I just know, like, I'm fully aware that the Western world tends to operate in double standards, and everything is an agenda for them for the most part. When you're in the world of diplomacy, you're in meetings, you're in rooms. Sometimes you're in rooms with world leaders, and you're like, wow, they're humans like me, but then, wow, that's what you want to do to my people? You know, which is sad. I mean, we can get into all the arguments on why our own leaders allow them do certain things, but that's even besides the point of this. But where I'm going is this: is that I guess coming from the knowledge that I have and the fact that I just really felt like I was a big advocate for my country, it just put me in a place where the last place I wanted to be was in a land that I felt like was the source of is a reflection of the people that I see as the source of our problems. And then it didn't help when I started learning about the Canadian history and found out about indigenous peoples and what had been done to them and residential schools. It just really validated to me, like, man, these people are the cause of the problems of the world. Why do I want to live with them? That's the mindset that I think, if I'm being honest, at the time was driving some of that. So believe me when I told you that it was a struggle to be like, why do I have to be here? Like, you're no better than I am, and I'm not going to be here and prove myself to you. So there was that struggle. But God helped me understand, by scripture, that there was a command he gave to people who were sent out in captivity. At least I came on my own accord. These people were in captivity, yet an instruction to them was to pray for the land, because in its prosperity is their prosperity. And I think I was challenged with that. Now, you can't pray for someone or something that you don't love. And so I actively remember I started praying for Regina as a city, I started praying for Saskatchewan as a province, and I started praying for Canada as a country. And like I said, when I birthed my son, it occurred to me that this child, when asked, where are you from, is going to always say Canada first. He would not think Nigeria. Now we're teaching him to also think Nigeria, but he naturally, by default, will not See, Nigeria. If someone is trying to be interesting and mean or just curious, then they can ask him like, "Oh, did your parents move from somewhere before?" And then he can say, "Yeah, I'm a second generation Canadian," or whatever, right? But whatever the case is, he won't think Nigerian first. He'll think Canada first, which means Canada by default is not a part of me. How am I not going to love it? How am I not going to pray for it? How am I not going to pray for its prosperity, for its peace? And how am I going to do all of that if I don't first learn to love the land? You know, believe me when I tell you that all of a sudden your eyes start opening and seeing opportunities when you love the land. You begin to realize that you can literally live in Pambram, Saskatchewan, and yes, it's a real place, been there, and you can literally be in Pambram, Saskatchewan or Porcupine Plain and still be a global citizen. By the way, fun fact, one of the world's richest female billionaires is actually from a small town in Saskatchewan. So small, I don't even remember the name of the town, but I know she's from Saskatchewan. And I don't even know how I stumbled on that, but it was when I was in this journey of how do I get to love this land, right? What is it that I'm looking for that I feel like is a disconnect with what is at the core of maybe what I feel like the land represents in my mind, that I somehow stumbled on this. And I think that for me, that just really helped me realize that I can literally live in the bushes and the forests of the land and still make it in life. So, love the land, love the people. Of course, goes without saying, you can't love the people if you're not interacting with them. All right? One key thing that I've come to learn, people are people everywhere. Love them, respect them, recognize them, treat them with dignity. They are very likely to reciprocate back, unless, of course, they are just plain wicked human beings, which sometimes you can't control that. There'll always be people like that. Number 10, and finally, and maybe I'll share a bonus point. Number 10 is keep an open mind. And again, it ties very well into the whole love the land, love the people idea, because then your eye starts to open to opportunities. And maybe also ties a bit into the flexibility one too. But when you keep an open mind, what then happens is that, like, just be prepared to allow what you think you know be challenged, right? Be prepared to allow that. Again, with working together as family, as a team, this is where sometimes I know that people have that struggle when the cultures start to clash. People don't unlearn what they know. And I'm sorry to say this, but I think that the biggest struggle on this is with the African men. I find is African men, just even generally the immigrant men, especially when they now find themselves in situations where the woman gets a job first and or gets a better paying job, or seems to be in a seeming place of, they start to see the culture here that you can't beat your wife. You shouldn't. Or that that sense of the woman has power because the environment enables her. People start to get into issues rather than sit back and say, okay, what is it about the way I've been raised, what I've learned that maybe I need to let go of, I need to unlearn, right? Rather than ask themselves questions like that, they want to desperately grasp and hold on. And what that only does is it creates conflict, tension, strife, and then 9 out of 10 times the woman is likely saying, you know what, I don't even have to take this crap from you anymore. I'm out of here. And before you know, marriages are falling apart. I'm not saying that's always the case. It's not ever just as simple as that. But that's one example, right? But if you're someone who keeps an open mind, you can say, okay, the system here is different. I find that people behave differently. I tend to see men in kitchen. What is it about that? Is there something I need to challenge within myself and unlearn? And or it can be that, again, in workplaces, people who have been high and mighty in their places of work back home come here, and then the struggle because back home someone goes by your meals over lunch, and or you have a secretary, this one happened to me, who does your typing at work, who prints your papers, so you don't even know how to work the copy machine. But then here you're your own printer and everything, you have to work it yourself and you don't know. But if you refuse to keep a mind of learning, because with an open mind is that you're open to growth, you're open to learning. If you refuse to keep that open mind and say, okay, what can I challenge myself in, you're likely not going to succeed. So keep an open mind. Now, bonus points before I leave you is that create memories with your children, especially those of you that have little kids here. Honestly, before you know they're grown, I swear to you, like this 10 years feels like I blinked and then opened my eyes and then it's 10 years. Maybe I was having too much fun, that's why. But honestly, with that, what it means is that my children have grown. The baby that I had that I've been talking so much about is going to be 9 years old this year. The one that I came into Canada with is going to be 12 years old this year. Can you believe that? Yes, I'm a mom of a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. I know. I don't look it. I know. Thank you. Oh. Anyway, but where was I? Right. Create memories of your children. Honestly, before you know they're grown. Like I literally have 6 more years with my firstborn before she's off to college, university, whatever. And yeah, I know it hasn't come yet, but I'm really starting to think about it. Right. And the one thing I'm grateful for, and I think COVID really helped us with this. We've been so busy, and we do our best, but just even being a lot more intentional about it. COVID really just helped us be a lot more intentional about how we're parenting, how we're being involved. And it's still maybe not perfect as to where we want it to be, because we're still both very busy. Like we have businesses, we have jobs, and then we have I have school and a PhD. My husband up until last year was in school as well. We didn't know that he was doing an MBA, and so it's always just been busy. Good busy though, but at the same time, and we're also like sort of really involved as leaders in our church, and also just all the extracurricular activities with the kids. But we've also incorporated travels as a key family thing that we do every now and then, every year at least, right? To just sort of help us create very special, curated time with our children and creating all these memories with them. And it's even in those moments that you really just sort of take off all the walls, bring down everything, and then everybody can just chill and just talk and chat and relax together as a family. We try to do that as much as we can day to day, do the best we can, but also just intentionally creating that time out and deciding what those memories would be. And I don't even know why I'm adding this bonus, but I just feel like maybe because I work with teenagers, and I get the sense that sometimes parents are usually so busy, they're not as involved in their children's lives as they ought to be. But that really needs to change. Because one day you wake up and then you're like, I don't even know this child anymore. You could have maybe just a little more attention over the years would have helped. So even if they're grown, it doesn't hurt to start where you are. And I'm sure that they'll remember the efforts for it. It counts. It counts. So anyway, those will be my 10 biggest lessons learned that I'll share with you. I'll leave with you. Like there's a whole lot more to it in each of those points. But like I said, the series will continue. I'll keep sharing and then sharing specific, more detailed stories around some of these lessons, how I arrived at them, and what's been going on and where we're at. I'll keep sharing all that. So stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. And once again, I'm really just grateful to be here, to be in Canada. And to those who are looking to call Canada home, I wish you all the best in that process. And to those who are already here, honestly, the land is full of opportunities, and it really is a reset. It is a reset. One of the biggest things I always say is treat it like a blank slate and then rewrite your story. Believe me when I tell you, put the work, trust the process, and you'll see everything come to life. They have for me, and they're continuing to unfold. So I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years and what that would be. But until next time, I'll see you. Take care and bye.